am always boasting about mom life and remote life and how they work so well together. So instead of just listening to me this time, I have brought on our very own Jen to talk about cam life, dot life, and mom life, and everything in between. So today's is all about parenting, remote life, and why the balance is so, so good. So welcome, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hello, so glad to be here.
So Jen and I always have these long conversations, just like we just did. Like we're, 15 minutes in here to our hour-long meeting, and we've already discussed everything kids. So we love to chat sort of not only mom life, but how it all works out. And there's tips and tricks and hacks, but moreover, how the balance of, building your career and making sure you have a really great impact on your agencies and how that's all kind of working together while being a parent, while being a mom. So I'm happy to kind of dive in today and learn not only all your secrets, but how it's almost beneficial to the agency, right? I think we come with sort of the structure when we're parents, which is really helpful when you're working inside an agency. So Jen, tell me all your agency secrets. You've kind of been living this life for a minute, and not all of it when you were a mom. So I'm going to call you a recent parent, but how are you balancing it all? How are you sort of being a mom and a really great client account manager?
I feel like it also stems off of having an amazing team. So even though I'm working internally with my agencies that I'm working with, I'm also externally having that team aspect. So when you become a CAM, you get this whole community that is just completely just blows you away with how they can train you and really make sure that you have everything that you need. So I wasn't going into this blind by any means. I was going into this not like motherhood by any means, where you're like, what am I doing? This is just another day in paradise. And some days it is, and some days it's not. And we all know that. But it's one of those where I felt comfortable going into the agency world, being a nomad, being a new, business owner, new mom, because I had the structure already kind of put in place for me with the agencies that I, now work with. So it's great to know you're going into this with people who have also gone through motherhood, potentially are going to be mothers. And then I can relate with them about what it's like to do the working nomad life. So I know it's not clear cut and dry, but the sense of community was it just blew me away, like instantly.
I really love that point too, because, unlike any other position, Dot and Company is setting you up for a success baseline. But when you're kind of a parent and have other things, I mean, everybody has other things going on, but like dependents and, kind of schedules like daycares and partners and, activities, all these things, you have to like come with efficiency, right? And that is one of our strong suits here at Dot and Company. And I think just inside of remote working, I think kind of just to backpedal a little bit, people might think, even though I think it's more common these days, but remote working, like, are you efficient? Are you good? Are you good at kind of time management and doing all this stuff? But it actually benefits all those things, right? You are better at time management. You're better at efficiency. You're less distracted, even if it's somebody walking by, you know what I mean? You're kind of zoned in. So coupled with, Dot and Company kind of providing all these resources, I mean, that is a great point, is that the efficiency level is up there, and sort of the resources and kind of the baseline is higher than maybe it would be with other jobs, right? That remote life, that sort of baseline.
And I'd even think, like, as you're saying this, I'm also looking at it as I'm used to the corporate world. I was used to going to the 9 to 5, doing all the things and having that team. And then the moment you switch over to working completely digitally and remote, and now you're a mom, and now you have all these moving pieces in your day, it's so fun to see that I may have never worked with an agency you've worked with, but we can still hold each other accountable without having that corporate-y feeling of having like, did you do the thing today? And it's like, no, how's it going? Let's brainstorm ideas, and let's, make sure that your agency is taken care of. Let's make sure that if there's a new system or process that we need to get set into place, we're going to work on that together, and we're going to offer that to new potential agencies that we are going to work with in the future. So it's like, it's a full circle effect, and I love it.
Love it. Love it. That's such a great point. And something I didn't think of, you do think of those, like, you have the balance of like, oh, a doctor's appointment for your kid. You get to like go and run, not get to, you kind of work out your schedule
Yeah.
so that you're at the doctor's in the morning. Maybe you're putting in more hours at night. Like that flexibility is like, chef's kiss, like that's all I want. I don't want to have to like put in paperwork for a day off to take my kid to the doctor. But I think the mindset of it all too is that like you're firing in so many directions. You have this, and this, is that like your work, it takes that sort of priority over, kids are at school. I'm really focused right now. I'm doing this right now. I'm zoned in. I'm getting it done. I have, 3 hours until they're home from the bus. Make sure I'm banging all these things out. They're home. I'm not going to have meetings, so I have to have them all at this time. You do kind of just fire on all those different levels that just kind of, I think, I've been saying it maybe for the past 10 minutes we've been talking, but like this efficiency level, or just this kind of, it's like a priority thing too, right? You're just so good at all the moving pieces because there's additional moving pieces and there's additional schedules and you have to really fit it all in.
Yeah. And this is for you. Like I look at it as a joy to go to work. And that is so hard for some people to say. And I hope more and more people see that it's possible, that when there's so many moving pieces, I love motherhood. I love everything about it. But then there are days where I love nothing about it. And knowing that I get to go to work and work with agencies and work with, just Dot & Company as a whole, it's amazing to know that that's for me. And whether that is my crazy self-care, if you want to call it, listening to the podcast, or going through and looking at new SOPs and efficiencies, I'm like, this is for me. These are the nerd things that I love to do, because how can I make my life easier personally and professionally? And it's capable, we can do that. And again, like you said, it goes back and forth with, these are all the things I have going on in motherhood, and making sure that I get all of this done before I get her out the door, finish my work, and then she's back home. So it's really just keeping the wheels churning, but it's never the same. And that's what I love about it too, is my job every single day working with the agencies that I work with. It's never the same, but it's always helping the same clients that we have, or taking on more, and how we can continue to make it so efficient. It's so much fun to see.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. I'm all the time being really thankful for this job. I mean, there's like the obvious, like there's no commute, there's no stressful daycare pickups, there's, doctor's appointments, all those things I said, like the kid's homesick, you can still work. But like the fact that, I think the saying is happy wife, happy life, right? Happy mom, happy life. I'm so excited about working remotely. I can really put myself into my job. I feel good about it. I'm doing what I love. I think that's something we look for in client account managers too, is somebody who like lives and breathes, client and account management. And then, to just kind of be happy about that and not have that stress of the commute, and not have that stress of, even putting on real pants. Like, I don't want to do that either.
I know, like leggings are life. Like that's a good thing. So what you see up here, like this is me, but it's like, I want to be comfortable. And I love so much about the flexibility with, working remote too, is I have family. So I'm not from where I'm at right now. I relocated. And so going and being able to pick up what I am doing, to go and travel and still have the ability to work from there, I think is something that, all the cams, we always talk about it. Like, where's your next adventure? Where are you working from today? What's the coffee shop like? Are you working from a beach? Oh my God. Like, we can do all these things, and it's possible because of what we have created. And it's amazing. And, being a parent, knowing that I can pick up my daughter to go and see her cousins 7 hours away and still work, that's like mind-blowing that we have the ability to do that. And our agencies are right on board with us because they understand it, and they're the nomad life too.
Right. I think that's, Jen, you are banging out these good points today. You're crushing it. That is such a great point, because takes a village. We hear this all the time, right? Well, it takes a village to raise a family, yes, but it also takes everybody in your agency to understand that.
Yes.
Why the village? Because I got to go to my mom's house because I need a break from potty training this child. I need a break from the terrible twos. I need a break from this teenager who, doesn't talk to me all day long. Like, these are things you need to make yourself happy. So remote, you pack it up, travel. Next morning, you're up in Boston doing the mom thing, grandparent thing, and you're down in your bedroom working. Like, I love that. Like, that is something that, yeah, certainly is encouraged. It doesn't have to be as sort of, I guess, planned or structured, like six weeks in advance, tell your boss this, put in the paperwork. Like, you wouldn't even have to tell people sometimes. You are working the same hours. It's just in a different office. So,
Yeah.
and that's what everybody in this space is doing, which is so cool too.
And it's so fun to see. I mean, then it's also a conversation starter. And I think that also can be, when you're onboarding a new client within an agency, can be such a fun talking point. Like, today I meet with you, here's my office. Next time I meet with you, I might have a different background. I might have, a little bit of communication that you might hear around me, a little muffled sound. And it's always fun to hear where people are at and what you're doing, because this was not possible years and years ago, because you felt as if you needed to be checking in, checking out, and doing all the things. So now, knowing that we're capable to do that and still have our fun family time, the moment I close my laptop like that, because there is no commute, it's blast. It's so fun to see all of this come to fruition, and knowing you have a team to support you and your agencies understand it is just a whole nother level.
Yeah. I mean, taking personal, examples here, like in my life, my daughter fell and broke her leg. And instead of that being a stress on me, my agencies are sending me flowers. Right. They're like, oh my God, like, go help, take care of her. That isn't like, we're all connected. We're all on Slack. I send a message on Slack from my phone, waiting for my daughter to have surgery on her leg. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that is a part of the day-to-day that people understand, and we're all on the same page. I think that's so great. I think it really does speak to the next generation. I'm going to have kids that see me working from home. I'm going to have 2 daughters that see me being a boss here. They see my desk set up. They know what hard work is. I think that's a really sweet lesson as well. Sweet in terms of, it wasn't like sweet, like cutesy, like sweet, like,
like boss babe.
Yeah. Like, I love that they see me working and they see that I'm happy. And, people say, oh, you're always working if you're working from home. Like, no, it's a balance. It's there if you need it to be. If you're launching and you want to get on and check the ads and check, sort of numbers, totally available. But, also easy to kind of shut the laptop and go literally seconds away from your entire family. Which
is just so fun. It truly just changes the way you even talk about working nowadays. And that is the joy of it. Because I'm the same. My daughter can see me and she knows the moment I bring out my laptop, she's going to bring out her quote unquote laptop and start working for a little bit if she was homesick, and she understands it. And my are the same way. How are you? How are you really doing? How is everything? What can we help you with and support you with? Because we know your daughter's home and we get it. So if you need to respond late at night, we got you. We understand it. And they are so easygoing when it comes to that. And it's so great to have a working space where you feel like that's acceptable. And we've just built those relationships so well at Dot & Company that the agencies that come in just get it. They know.
Yeah. They know. And I think that kind of speaks to us as, and the greater us, not Dot & Company. It's like remote working. Yes. Remote working, building these careers that are, I guess, focused around your family, but like definitely based on the needs of your family. So you're sort of really getting the best of both worlds, which wasn't, I grew up in a time when, of course, we all go to university and we think we're going to get the dream job, but what is that and what does that look like is kind of a question mark. And, here I am sort of, I've done the mom thing. I've closed the door. I've had the kids. They're growing. They're thriving. I got to focus on me. I got to build my career. And this is just the best way to do it. I'm working remote. I'm fulfilling my family's needs. If I got to put in some laundry throughout the day, I do that. If I have to cook, nobody says that about me ever because I hate cooking. But And if I gotta cook a meal, I'm there. There's dance class and hockey practices that start at 4.
Mhm.
Who can go from downtown to the suburbs and be somewhere for 4?
It's not
Yeah,
possible. It's
not
not
possible.
possible.
So then what? Your kids don't get to do those activities? Like, it's just such the perfect balance
It is.
and such a great sort of way to revolutionize working from home with that balance between family and career. And I think you do it very well, Jennifer, which is something that we're talking about regularly, I think, coupled with the really great knowledge of everybody else, all the other parents telling us how it is,
Yes.
especially during, global pandemics. We're all homeschooling and we're like hopping on Zoom calls being like, I don't want to do it anymore.
What do I do? Panic.
So it is such a great resource. We're in it together. And I think it is really sort of this revolutionary way of thinking how careers can sort of evolve with your family as well.
Yes.
So I'm all for it. We are pro remote workers here at Dot & Company. Our agencies that we work with are too. And if you ever want to know anything more about what we're doing here at Dot & Company, how our team kind of thrives, how and who we are, how we do it, then just follow all the links below. We'll link them in the description. So Jen, thank you so much for joining me today. I think from one mom to another, this has just been such a great episode. Of course, Jen and I are always here for all the mom chats. So until then, really excited to talk about the remote life and everything client account management. I would love to say from one mom to another, cheers to happy clients. Thanks, Jen.